What's going on, everybody? My name is Tom from Planted Aquaria, and today we're going to be diving into which substrate works best for your aquarium, which one you might want to choose, whether or not you want to go for an AquaSoil based, gravel, or sand. Now I'm going to jump into the pros and cons of each, just so you guys can know the difference, and that way it'll help you select which substrate you want to use for your aquarium. So jumping right into it, I laid all of our available substrates that we have in our store on the table. We have over here the inert substrates, meaning they do not leach off any ammonia or any bad chemicals into your water. And I shouldn't call that bad chemicals actually, because technically they're good chemical for your plants, but I'll dive into that in a second for you guys. But anyway, if you're a beginner or you're not really growing plants that require lots of nutrients in their soil, for example, I have a tank over here that runs carpet grass, and ideally for carpeting grass you're gonna want AquaSoil. And if you're not planning to run any type of carpeting grass, then you don't need the soil, you can do sand or gravel. Now there are certain plants that you could grow that are considered carpeting plants that will work in your gravel. To name one or two, I believe it's a dwarf sage or veils. I'm not sure if people consider those carpeting grasses, but people do tend to try to carpet the entire substrate flooring with those two plants I've seen. Anyways, back to the gravel and sand. The reason why you guys would choose gravel and sand over AquaSoil is if you are not planning on running carpets like I mentioned before, or you're running really low and easy plants. A lot of plants that could grow in gravel, like Amazon swords and kabambas, limnophilas, those plants are really easy. They don't really require AquaSoil, right? We have a tank over here that my trend set up that's just gravel. You can see we have an Amazon sword in the back there. We have the limnophila back there. It's similar to a kabamba plant and they grow extremely easy. So that is a stem plant, right? I would assume any heavy root feeding plants, if you don't have any root taps for them like we did for this Amazon sword, it may not do too well in your gravel. But keep in mind that your fish will go to the bathroom in the tank, right? And that will provide nutrients for the plants. Now it may not provide enough nutrients, and that's why we do sell liquid fertilizers that you could buy to help the plants grow. Just to give you guys an idea, yes, you could grow many plants in gravel and sand, but I do recommend gravel over sand just due to the fact that the sand doesn't really hold enough oxygen or allows oxygen to really breathe through the substrate here at the bottom. And that's because there's bacteria that lives in your substrates as well, right? They will help break down the food, organic waste, and that will be converted down in the substrates for your plants to absorb as nutrients, and those will grow, right? Now if you had sand, the chances of any organic waste getting into the cracks down there for any living bacteria are slim to none. So that's why if you do plan on using sand, like my tank over here, try to have an even balance of substrates and sand. Now I do regret not using enough sand because I have Cory cats here and you can see that they moved the sand over a little bit. No problem, I can fix that on my own. Moving on to our AquaSoils, the first one we have up is Fluvostratum. I believe this is the lowest priced AquaSoil in our store, and it's a great beginner soil due to the fact that it doesn't leach ammonia or any nitrites and nitrates. I believe, don't quote me on that. If it does, it's very minimal, not compared to these two. And that's because these two, they actually recommend you not to add livestock in the first month or two. And they actually have a specific chart, which I'll pull up right now for you guys. This is the calendar or your schedule you're supposed to follow for aquarial neosoil. I believe you do a water change every 2 days for a couple weeks, and then you switch it and do water changes every 3 days for a couple weeks. And that's just to release all the ammonia, to let the ammonia leach into the waters, and by you doing the water changes, you're removing those ammonia. Now you're probably wondering why they added ammonia and nitrates into the soil to begin with. And that's because, going back to my tank, again, the plants need the ammonia and nitrites to survive, right? To thrive and grow, not survive. But ideally, AquaSoils will have lots of nutrients for your plants for a longer period of time compared to a gravel, which you might have to add root tabs and stuff like that to the plants inside the gravel or the substrate every so often, like every month or two, which is not ideal. You know, when you get set up with an AquaSoil, if you're willing to wait to put livestock in your tank, then AquaSoil is honestly the way to go. Alright guys, so just a quick rundown of today's video. If you are a beginner and you are new to the aquarium hobby and want to add livestock faster, or you're eager to add your livestock, then you might want to choose the sand or gravel option, just because those won't be leaching ammonia and bad stuff into your waters. Chances are you're probably not going to have a water tester for your first time, which I do recommend you get. You should always have a master test kit or some way to tell what's wrong with your water quality at home in your aquarium tank, right? So we do sell the master water test kit if that's something that interests you. But again, gravel and sand are great for beginners due to the fact that they don't leach off any ammonia or anything that will harm your fish in the waters, right? But again, you'll have a very slim to low success of running any carpeting plants or any hard plants in the future. Last but not least, we have our 3 AquaSoils. If you ask me what I recommend for AquaSoil, these 2 do the best because I consider myself an aquascaper. I do like all the carpeting plants. I like to set up my tank, take my time before I actually add my livestock. So I don't mind adding livestock later on down the road if that means my plants will grow out beautifully, right? So Tropica soil, Aquarium neosoil, great for carpeting plants, but will take some time to set up, maybe a month or 2 before you can actually add your livestock and make sure the water is perfectly clean before you do so. And for beginners wanting to start aquascaping or just want to get into the little harder plants, I do recommend you get fluval stratum. These guys are great to add into pre-existing aquariums because they don't leach off any ammonias or nitrates and stuff like that. So you could also use them to start an aquarium tank for the first time. I had good success on certain plants. I wouldn't say I had many success on carpeting plants using fluval stratum, but there's probably someone on the internet that can prove me wrong and grew out like a massive carpet plant with fluval stratum, right? So hopefully this video helped you guys decide on which AquaSoil or substrates you want to choose for starting your aquarium tank. I do read and respond to as much comments as I could, so if you guys have any questions or comments you want to let me know, feel free to comment below. Hit the like button. As always, it does me a huge favor. It'll get like the YouTube algorithm pumping up my video and recommending it to other people. That would be great. And last but not least, subscribe if you have not already. You guys don't want to miss out on what we have in store. We have lots of plans after COVID. On June 14th, we'll be opening for 15% in-store shopping capacity. And again, we have big plans. I don't want to say on YouTube right now, but we have a semi-famous scaper coming to scape one of the tanks behind over there. So that's going to be exciting. Anyways, that's it for today's video, guys. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one.